All right, so let's get into the size of this guy. You are looking, everywhere I read on this thing, it says 43 mil, but I gotta be honest with you, the only place I can measure 43 mil is if I measure on the bezel only from the outermost cog to the outermost cog, and you will get 43 mil there. But if you measure just the case from like say here to here, excluding the crown guard, I measure 41.3. So I think that's why, some people are turned off by it because they think it's actually 43. It's really not a 43 mil watch, guys. Excluding the crown guards and the crown, you're, under 41 and a half. Now the lug to lug is still pretty hefty at 50 mil, but you have a decent turn down on there. And then if you have it on either bracelet, because it was offered in a bracelet, or you have this really nicely tight fitting rubber strap, which I would wear it on this. I would just cut it the size and wear it on this. It's going to be super comfortable. I'll try to give you a wrist shot on it. It's going to float on me a little bit because, these curve and they'll end up fitting really good once you get it on there. But you can see this one pairs up really nice with it, with the blue and the white stripes. Plus it says Certina Diver on it. So very cool. Nice fold over clasp. Pretty nice setup, I think. So I do like a good fitted strap for these guys. So the thickness, again, 12.3, that's going to be the flat sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating on it. You can see there, no distortion, very easy to read at just about any angle. And then the lug width, that's where it gets a little tricky, pretty much 21 mil. Now I did stuff it on a 22 NATO, so if you're going to have some NATO wearing action on it, which a lot of guys will do, you are looking at probably trying to find a good soft 22 mil, or if you have a stiffer NATO, then you might want to go with a 20 mil. So 22 is what I had on there with this luff, and this is kind of like seatbelt type material. So if you have one that's like this material, I think a 22 is easy enough to get in there. The spring bar location is actually a little bit closer to the head of the watch, so it will be tight in there too. So really thick NATOs, probably not going to work very good. This is about as thick as you're going to want to get. So just something to keep in mind. But if you buy it on bracelet, the bracelets are really good, or if you get on this rubber strap, which is probably how I would go. And I know typically I'm a bracelet guy, but it seems like I've been scooting away from it a little bit. I've been wearing a lot of strap watches and everything like that. So probably not too far off from actually starting to wear NATOs, guys. And I know that's shocking to hear me say that, but probably not too far off from it. So design-wise here, you can see the bezel is actually very cog-like, very easy to grip. It's going to be a 60 click, pretty loose feeling. I'm sure like if you were to wear this underwater with some pressure on it, it might tighten up, and maybe that's the design they were going for. So we will have some lume on the bezel, and then of course on the handset and the indices. Being a ETA 2824, you do have a date there. It's stuffed in between the 4 and 5. So there's that, screw down crown, 200 meter water resist. It is ISO certified. I think it even says on there. Let me move these hands. So I don't notice really any pop, and there's very, very small crown wobble there. But if we move this out of the way, yeah, you can see it's an ISO 6425, whatever that rating is. It has it. So you guys would have to look that up. I'll put a link in the description of whatever information I can find on it. This one is obviously a used watch. There are some scratches and dings and everything like that. A viewer of the channel, Derrick, sent this in to share with us. He never did size the strap, so I'm assuming he wore it on some sort of NATO strap or something like that as well. So just a really good looking blue diver. I think there were some other colorways as well, but the blue on this is just stunning. Can see it's very, very nice to look at. You have that deep red tip seconds hand. It goes way past the lollipop, so not a ton of white on that seconds hand, but nice contrast. There's no other red on this watch, so it's kind of cool to have that one little splash of color there. Usually it's tied in with something else. This one's a full standalone, just the red on the seconds hand, and I think it works. It works good. You have a DS signed crown there. The finishing on it is brushing up and down there, and then brushing going this way. Polished, bezel, polished case back with the DS diver's turtle there, and that's like laser etched in there. It's not the full stamped case back that I've seen on some Certina watches. So let's see. Let's compare it to the SKX real quick, so you guys can kind of get a size comparison. Most people know or have an SKX or have owned one at some point, so it gives you some sort of idea there of what kind of size-wise you're looking at. But definitely, you know, where sometimes on the SKX the blue just looks black, you're not going to confuse. You have to get in pretty dim light to confuse this for black. This blue is very vibrant, very nice looking. So I don't know if there's got to be some, yeah, there's definitely a dive extension on there. I could see it tucked away in there. So it's full stamped out and everything like that, but milled center section there, but it's going to work just fine once you get it sized up. So let's see, I think I covered everything. Let me give you a retail price on this is $8.95. I did look it up. I mean, these are discontinued and they moved on to the Powermatic one. So, but back when these were in stock, Joma was selling them on a regular for like $4.95. And I think that's really even the case for the newer one. So you're talking, these are sub $500 watches, Swiss made, ETA movement, or, you know, the newer one's going to be the Powermatic, which is basically just an altered ETA. You know, you're right there in that sweet spot, 500 or less. That's definitely my comfort zone. I think that's a lot of other people's comfort zone. So another option out there that's going to be a good choice for a lot of people. That 50 mil lug to lug might be a bit stretch for some people, but if you have a 7, you know, and up wrist, I think you're going to be totally fine with it. Now the lume on it, don't expect like Seiko lume or anything like that, guys. There's not a ton of companies that do it. You can see there, it glows fine. It kind of has a cool blue look to it. It's possibly BGW9. You can see there is some lume in the sapphire bezel insert there. So you can see it all the way down there, down to the 20 anyway. So the hands are a little bit brighter than the indices, and you know, BGW9 is decently bright and it seems to last a long time. So you should have pretty good lume. But like I said, it's not Seiko lume, you know. But you get what you get. So thanks for watching. Big thanks to Derrick for sending this in, and I'll catch you guys in the next vid.